was born with the gift of the gab. With MagMongoSlade. Shoot. We don't miss.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today, we're going to do some audience reviews. So, Common Sense Media put together a parent's guide to WWE Friday Night Smackdown. We're going to go through this, and we're going to read what the children think about SmackDown for the past 13 to 14 years. This is going to be very, very interesting. Most of these I have not read. So let's get this thing started. Parent's Guide to WWE SmackDown by Sierra Felucci of Common Sense Media. They rated that SmackDown is suitable for ages 15 plus, but only gave it 1 star. WWE Friday Night SmackDown is a 1-star show, says Sierra Felucci, which is a Common Sense Media reviewer. She put crass, outlandish, and not recommended. Not recommended for children, says Sierra Felucci. So she's going to give a reason why she feels that it's a 1-star show. Let's start at the bottom. Drinking, drugs, and smoking, not present. Products and purchases. Quote, cross-promotions seem to be integrated into the show. A movie trailer starring a pro wrestler is introduced by members of the show. Language. Some crass language along the lines of, you suck. Stronger curse words are bleeped. This is giving 3 points. 3 out of 5. So they're very strong language that you suck. Sex, romance, and nudity says men and women dress provocatively and pose seductively. So it got 3 out of 5. Violence and scariness, it got 3 out of 5. It says violence, simulated physical violence, largely without weapons, rarely bloody. Okay. And it says positive messages. It says messages that violence is funny, brawn is preeminent, humiliation is hilarious, and women are sex toys, ridiculous soap opera scenarios created to heighten drama. 0 positive messages. 0 positive messages, says Sierra Felucci. So she wrote that parents need to know that this sporting event meets soap opera is brimming with non-stop physical violence, including body slams, headlocks, knees to the groin, smacks, punches, and kicks. The violence, although simulated, usually looks very real, and wrestlers are often injured during matches, though this element is played up only for dramatic effect. The series' comedic elements could convince younger viewers that this kind of violence is innocuous, while, in reality, much of it is choreographed and shouldn't be attempted by untrained people. Via dress and behavior, male and female sexuality is portrayed in an overt and stereotypical manner. So that's what you need to know. So, she then goes on and says, is it any good? She gives it 1 star. Parents gave it 3 stars. Kids gave it 4 stars. So that should tell you who the target audience is and who is interested. Sierra writes, quote, each episode begins with the lower-ranked wrestlers whose moves are so obviously choreographed and whose personalities are so relatively dull that it can be difficult for a non-fan to tolerate. As the action progresses, the characters get more compelling, and the wrestling begins to look more realistic, even though it's accompanied by over-the-top mugging at the camera and oh-so-dramatic throes of pain. Professional wrestling has an enormous fan base. As one might assume, the fans are generally young and male, though a glance into the stands at these events, which are filmed live, reveals plenty of women and children in the audience. Fans of the show and the genre say the personalities and their intricate soap opera-like storylines are what attract them, rather than the fighting, though there have been reports of youths copying showy wrestling moves to tragic ends. The invention of women's professional wrestling, the Divas, has theoretically put women on the same footing as the men in WWE, but overt sexism and exaggerated machismo is part of the game. Ladies are often used to escort males to the ring or pose seductively by the ropes. Characters are so over the top that some would say they're poking fun at the personalities they inhabit. Overly macho men, most obviously. But viewers too young or too cynical to tease out the subtleties of this interpretation will see it as simply an outlandish celebration of violence and testosterone. Families can talk about the appeal of professional wrestling shows. What makes them compelling? Do the matches seem genuine? What are the characters and their ongoing storylines? What are some common themes in the genre? How do women fit into the scene? What about race? The professional wrestling supposedly has rules of engagement. They're often ignored. What lessons do your kids take from that idea? Oh boy. So what do the children think? Well, we know that the children give it 4 stars, while the parents give it 3 stars, while Sierra Felucci gives it 1 star. So this ought to be a very interesting thing because it's a huge difference between the reviewer, the parents, and the children. So we're going to go all the way to the bottom. We're going to go as far back as we possibly can. 15 years ago, a kid who is 5 plus. So we don't know how old he is, but from the looks of the writing, he's a little older than 5. It says, LOL, these ratings are crap. It probably way better than the crap you think is good, and it's benefited me in a lot of ways. 1, I've gotten much more healthy by working out and exercising while wrestling. 2, I've made a lot of friends that share the same interests as me. 3, what do you expect us to watch? Dora the Explorer? 4, I have a lot of confidence. 5, out of the 7 years I've done pro wrestling, I've never gotten major injuries. 6, and it provides me to look forward to when I have bad Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Now, whoever this is says they've been doing pro wrestling for 7 years and say they're a kid of age 5 plus. Excuse me, were you wrestling in the womb? You probably somebody who doesn't know how to use this thing. And this kid gave it 5 stars. So 5 stars 15 years ago, that would have been 2006. So whoever you are, you're probably almost 30 today. You're not a 5-year-old, okay? Why would they let 5-year-olds on this thing anyway? So again, from 15 years ago, somebody who is age 7 plus. I don't know what that means. I love watching wrestling. It does nothing to my brain. It does nothing. It doesn't do anything to my brain. What do you mean? Again, from 15 years ago, age 10 plus, 5 stars. Amazing. It's amazing. So what if there are swear words and sex scenes? Kids get the Discovery Channel, and parents that might swear it's no worse than PG-13 movie with wrestling in it. I'm pretty sure this kid's a little over than 10. He's probably like 13 or 14. But 15 years ago, you're probably 30 today, kid. 14 years ago, a guy of the age of 2 plus. So we got toddlers on this site now. This title has too much violence, too much sex, too much swearing, too much consumerism. A 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old perhaps, that knows what consumerism is. Very, very interesting. Incredibly interesting. Again, from 14 years ago, a kid of age 5 plus. Good for 7 and 9-year-old kids. I liked it a couple of years ago, but I figured out it was fake. I still watched it. Then it started getting predictable. First of all, in real sports, they don't put commercials in the middle of a match. Second of all, the clothesline will kill you, and you don't use the gender advantage. This seems like another adult that went to the wrong side of the site and started putting in things as kids. This is for kids. There's a parent's side, all right? This is for the kids. You're not 7 years old worrying about the gender advantage, okay? I guarantee you are not. You're an idiot. 14 years ago, another kid, 5 stars. The title has great role models, okay? 14 years ago, a kid who is 9 plus gives it 3 stars. Why is it fake? 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 Why? That actually seemed a little bit more childish than I thought. 14 years ago, a guy of the age 10 plus, who was probably, what is it? He's 24 now, 26, somewhere between 24 and 30. WWE Friday Night Smackdown. I watch this show every Friday and it's the best. The title has great messages and great role models. All right, 14 years ago, age 10 plus, 5 stars, WWE Smackdown, Pro Wrestling Gone Extreme, Too Cool for Most. The title has great messages, great role models. 14 years ago, a person aged 10 plus, they gave it 1 star. Stupid. Don't waste your time. This show is stupid. It is all faked and rigged. Expect lots of brutal wrestling violence, though blood is rare, and some mostly mild swearing. This title has too much violence, too much swearing. 14 years ago, Kid Age Plus gives it 5 stars as this is a great show in Friday Night Smackdown. It is a tad bit violent, but anyone should be able to handle it, and the girls are a little deviant, but it can be handled. Title has too much violence, too much consumerism. 8 plus, and you worried about, you know what deviant means? You're either a high level kid or you're another adult on the wrong side of the site. 13 years ago, we're getting a little bit closer to the modern day. WWE Friday Night Smackdown is rated TV PG-DOV. Now it's 2010, it's rated TV PG-V. This title has great role models. So this person probably really was typing in 2010 because they put the year. 13 years ago, Kid gave it 5 stars. Great show with great role models. The title has too much consumerism, great messages, great role models. That John Cena, everybody likes him, huh? 13 years ago, Kid age 6 plus gives the show 3 stars. Okay, I watch sometimes on YouTube, but it's not fake, it's scripted and rigged, and the pain and injury is real. Okay. 13 years ago, age 11. It's okay for 10, I think. It's got a couple of nasty words at night because it's uncut. They may tape WWE first, but they don't cut it. The title has too much violence, too much sex, too much swearing. That actually feels like a kid wrote it. You know? That felt like something a kid actually wrote. 13 years ago, age 5 plus. 5 stars, kids of all ages. 14 plus. Are you kidding me? It should be 5 plus. 13 years ago, age 11 plus. Says, I watch it every Friday night, and I love it. Rey Mysterio is my hero. Only a little swearing. I think the only good role models of the girls are Kelly and Beth Phoenix. For the guys, I think it's Rey Mysterio. This title has too much swearing, too much consumerism, great messages, and great role models. 13 years ago, age 2 plus, 5 stars. The show is for everyone. This show is the best. This title has too much sex, too much great messages, great role models, and it's for everybody. Sound like Vince McMahon. Vince put that one in there. 13 years ago, WWE Smackdown, love. I love WWE Smackdown. 5 stars. 13 years ago, 5 stars. Good for all, love, love, love. Great messages, great role models. 13 years ago, age 16 plus. This one's actually pretty long. Very violent, very cheesy, and very bad for kids to see. I watched a few episodes with my younger brothers. They are way too young to be watching stuff like this. I agree with common sense. Almost every single one of the characters are very bad role models. They are either villains or beating people up because they think it's the right thing to do. Besides, why would you like to watch this stuff? The wrestling moves are totally fake, and the drama is overly exaggerated, and their acting doesn't do much for them either. I hate this show. It's so annoying, and my brothers have even hurt each other trying to duplicate these moves. I try to tell them that it's not right and made them stop watching it. But boys are boys, and they still won't listen. This title has too much violence, too much sex, but they gave it 5 stars. They gave it 5 stars and then said it has too much violence, too much sex. It's fake, and they should stop watching it. People don't know how to use these sites. Y'all be watching this stuff like y'all be reading Yelp and all this kind of stuff. These people don't know how to use these things. You don't know how to rate things. You don't know how to give a review. That's inconsistent as hell. 13 years ago, kid gave it 5 stars. It says it's fake for goodness sake. Gosh, people don't realize, R-E-L-I-Z-E, they have to do this and use that language. Duh, it's freaking fake. My gosh, too much swearing. Oh, thanks. That actually felt like a teenager wrote it. 12 years ago, WWE is amazing. I love WWE. Friday Night Smackdown is fake WWE wrestling. They do use weapons and blood, might come briefly. But if you tell your kids it's fake and you should not act like that for real in real life, then I think they should be okay with it. The girl wrestlers might dress inappropriately. Because of that, I need to go to a different room until it's over. Aw, isn't that sweet? Oh my God, Mickey James is on television. Get out of the room. Leave my lotion. Get out of here. 12 years ago, Kid gave it 4 stars. Spectacular. That's the review. Spectacular. The title has great role models, too much violence, too much sex, too much swearing, too much consumerism, too much drinking, drugs, smoking, but it's spectacular for children. Thanks. And who was drinking and smoking in 2010? Who was that? 2022? No, 2012. Who was doing that? Who was drinking and smoking in 2012? I think R-Truth broke out a cigarette in 2012, huh? Was it 2013 he smoked that cigarette on TV? 12 years ago, what WWE commercialized media.org talking about? I think this show is for kids probably 12 and up because there is half-naked men fighting all the time. They say the female dog word every once in a while, and there is this beast in the show who breaks people's legs during the show, but it's still a very fun show. Wait a minute. Wait a second. There is this beast on the show who breaks people's legs during the show, but it's still a very fun show to watch. Title has too much violence, too much swearing. Oh my God. It's a beast. He's breaking people's legs. 5 stars, 12 years ago. Says, well, for those of you who are still living in the 80s, get updated. Wrestling's the next best sport after football. Quit hating on wrestlers. They are people like us and they get paid. There is good there. The wrestlers may be able to promote maintaining a healthy body and strength, eating healthy as well. Violence may be over the top, but there is still some humor to it. Overall, great program. That does not, well, it maybe seemed like an upper teenager. Maybe I wrote it. So, 12 years ago, 5 stars. In 2008, WWE initiated changing the rating to TVPG. You see, this show is meant for kids. Think of the extinction of dinosaurs, the blood on this show. What has been gone longer? Google CZW and find out which is more violent. Well, don't do that. I don't suggest that. Don't give them no attention. 11 years ago. There's nothing bad about this game. I have been watching WWE, WWF since I was born. I was a big fan, then a bigger fan now. It's nothing bad. I don't know why the divas are sexual content. It's nothing bad. I think Firstborn can even see this. What? I think Firstborn should watch this. 11 years ago. I like it. Even though I am a kid, I still watch it. Great. 11 years ago. 4 stars. Awesome. I think you should discuss with your kids that the wrestling is fake and that they are okay after the matches. Then younger people will know that they're not really fighting. Well, that's actually a sensible response. So it might be like an older kid. 11 years ago, WWE Smackdown. I watched it when I was 4, and I'm almost 11 now. Okay, been watching for 7 years. Good job, kid. 11 years ago, 5 stars. Great show. Highly entertaining. The people are extremely harsh about viewings. The messages that people should work hard in life and that you can always have redemption don't even show up in their review. I know tons of younger children who treat their mothers, sisters, and all women in their life nicely. And they always specifically say everywhere to never try things at home. The fact that they say it is only okay for adults proves that the site wants kids to see shows that are way too young for them. Like teens and tweens watching SpongeBob or Sesame Street. They need to know about the audience. I don't know what that means, but this was 11 years ago. 11 years ago, great show, but very violent. Gave it 4 stars. Another one, 10 years ago. I love it. I like Mark Henry, John Cena, and Daniel Bryan. Yes, yes, yes. 5 stars. 9 years ago. Smackdown is the best wrestling ever. Smackdown is fantastic. I remember Brock Lesnar suplexing Big Show and broke the ring. This is from a kid from 9 years ago. 9 years ago, 5 stars. Only inappropriate at times. This show is great. But sometimes superstars can swear. Also, there's a lot of violence. The divas wear outfits that are showy. 9 years ago, 5 stars. WWE is the best. WWE is okay for kids who would try it. It has great messages like never give up. There are even good role models like John Cena saying never give up. And The Undertaker returning after many injury. Only it has violence. Undertaker. Great role model. 4 years ago, 5 stars. WWE is too young for kids. I think that the kids at the age of 8 or younger should be watching it, and it's very bad and can teach them how to fight. I think you have to be older, so like 16 and up. To Too much. Kids might learn how to fight from watching wrestling. Oh, Lord. You learn how to throw a punch like John Cena, you'll get knocked out every goddamn time. 3 years ago, good. WWE has changed its rating to PG since 2008. It's for kids now. No. Now. It's supposed to be now, but he put no. But has a couple of curse words. 5 stars. 3 years ago, 1 star. Very inappropriate at times. WWE is just reckless at this point. They make stories about literally anything. No boundaries whatsoever. They openly promote demonic and hell acts as if it's a joke or some type of game. I used to love WWE, but honestly have lost all respect for it. Whoa. Whoa. That's crazy. Demonic? Oh, this is a based kid here. Notice we skipped 5 years with no reviews. So from, what was this, maybe 9, it says 9, you go from 9 years ago to 4 years ago. So 9 years ago was 20, I don't want to do math. 2013 maybe. And then we go back to 2020. And demonic messaging, yeah, we talking about The Fiend. 3 years ago, 5 stars. WWE has changed its rating to PG since 2008 for kids, but has a couple of curse words. 2 years ago, 3 stars. It's an okay show. WWE is definitely absolutely for kids and adults. It's for everyone. Okay. 2 years ago, 2 stars. Predictable, boring stuff every week. Well, I started watching WWE since The Shield, and boy, has it gone downhill. Every episode follows the same storyline that I will write for you. It's 2 hours of nonsense. 8 o'clock, show starts. 8:20 recap. 8:25, Roman Reigns comes out, gives 20-minute speech with the Usos. 8:30, main event is announced. 8:45, usually a 15-minute rematch from last week, or a filler match. 9 o'clock, some dumb talk show with KO or Sami Zayn. 9:15, the 20-minute women's segment. 9:30, some advertising for pay-per-view and merch. Some promos for match, main event. As you see, it's predictable and dumb. And the comedy isn't even funny. Like Jimmy Uso said, yeet, that's like from 2018. Gets 2 stars for Rick Boogs. Oh yeah, and Roman even talks about stealing partners. That kid broke it down. How dare you? He knows his stuff. Well, she knows her stuff. Like, you could tell it's female by the name. I'm not using the names, obviously. 2 years ago, 4 stars. WWE is all right. Due to a rise in cancellation of controversial content and the fact that offensive moments and spots in pro wrestling are not as okay as now as they were, now the show is basically family-friendly wrestling. There are some hardcore matches, steel folding chairs, kendo sticks, but nothing that bad. Okay. 3 weeks ago, so we're in 2024, so we can get no reviews for 2 years. 4 stars, has improved a lot. More appropriate than My Classroom Minds. Has some fighting, but also has some messages that will guide children in life. Has improved a lot and has less of the inappropriate stuff. So that was the last review, was from 3 weeks ago. They have parent reviews too, but many of the parents did not put any information. They just put like a star rating or something like that. You occasionally get a really solid review, like from 15 years ago. You got 1 star, and the parent said, "Why isn't this show on after 10 p.m.? This show is inappropriate for 8 p.m. When I see this show, I see glorified ex-cons fighting. I doubt that they are ex-cons, but they look like it. I see very young children in the audience with parents who seem to want to show their children that this is cool. I teach elementary school, and every single time children are given free play, there will be a group that will try to play Smackdown wrestling. It is a crying shame. They learned this on television. It did not need to be on so early. Where I live, it's on at 8 p.m. However, Charlie Brown's Christmas will come on at 9 p.m. What is this? Charlie Brown Christmas should definitely come on at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's another one from the parents. Nothing happened to me when I watched this. He gave it 1 star. You seriously have to update this review. All WWE programming has become PG, and the sex and swearing has literally disappeared, while there is no more blood and the violence has toned down a lot. He's also Hispanic, so that tells you a lot. Just to go through some of the adults ones, just because there's not a lot of them, but the adults do kind of get into a little bit more detail. But for instance, this adult gave it 5 stars. says it's acceptable with a family understanding. I am a female fan, an aspiring wrestler who has watched since I was a little kid. I was told at a young age not to try things without training, and I did not. I also understood that they were playing characters in the ring and that the people outside of the ring are great role models. Look at their charity work. I am now 21 years old and still watch. Yes, it may be inappropriate for very young kids, but school-age kids can watch it as long as they have a good role model watching it with them, explaining to them that it's scripted and that they may really get hurt. Then it is not as much of a threat. Just this week, April 2011, longtime wrestler Edge retired, saying that this business does hurt, and that despite his in-ring character's actions, he loves the fans, and the wrestlers become a family, and showed the realism of the product, and that they do it for the fans, and only should it be doing it because it is not a game, but a professional sport, with people watching that are safe. The kids who copy the wrestling do not have a good role model at home, telling them it's for professionals only. That is more of a problem in the home, not with the product. Even they say in ads not to try it at home. I have found that wrestling is one of the most exhilarating things to be involved in, and I haven't been exposed to it in youth. I never would have had the passion to follow through with it as a profession, one that I love. You have to let your kids experience things, let them decide. That means that this young lady who was 21 when she wrote this article is now 34 today. So hopefully you're out there. Maybe you're listening to me. Thank you very much for a positive review. Another adult said, quote, parents just don't understand. Gave it 5 stars. As a lifelong fan, take it from me that the only thing offensive about WWE programming anymore is the often idiotic subject matter and lines that John Cena and fellow superstars spout. If it were in 1998, then I can understand the concern of letting your child watch pro wrestling. But it's 2011 now, and it's the time to turn on the WWE. We're not in 1998 anymore. The women aren't being used as sex objects, and the blood is pretty much extinct. Grow up, parents, and pop the bubble your child is living in. A few expletives won't shatter their impressionable minds. Let me tell you this. 2011 was considered a terrible time for women's wrestling, if you look back at it today. It's amazing what time will do for you, right? If you go back, 2024 lambasts 2011, who look at 1998 as it was bad. When, like, that's amazing how you can look back on things and have such clarity. Another adult gave it 3 stars, says, please try this at home. WWE is just often in the wrestle-ting entertainment. Now, I obviously have no power over what you as a parent will allow your child to watch. Advice, especially good advice, never hurt anyone, right? Now then, we all know that the performers, male and female, are just doing their jobs. They have passion for this, and whenever I see Rey Mysterio or John Cena enter the arena, kids as well as adults go nuts. Why? Because they know it's all ib good fub. Did this person not have an N key on their computer? It's all in good fun. Sure, they may get hurt. They may get injured. But they'll deal with the pain just to wake up in a week or some, get in their car, drive to work, and perform in front of millions of fans each day. Why? They love it. I don't know why about you, but seeing a child smile makes me smile. And whenever I did to make them smile and be happy, I liked if I could do something similar. The more mature wrestlers like Kane, Undertaker, and Sheamus, that very, very mature Sheamus, are geared towards the more older generation of fans. We all know WWE used to be real gritty back in the day. Stone Cold, anyone? But now times have changed, and whether you boo, Cena, or love him, SmackDown, as well as Raw, is here to stay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Another adult gave it 3 stars, says, it's fake fighting, okay? It's not UFC, it's okay. They fake punch. They act like you've seen someone getting punched. They fall down for fake, okay? For 7-year-olds, because 6-year-olds may think it's really fighting. It may get intense for them. It's a bit much. 9 years ago, I stopped saying what year it was in, right? No, I didn't. 9 years ago, WWE built its legacy in its later years around the fact that it is entertainment and should be treated as such. In the early 2000s, it was not appropriate for children. But in later years, it has changed. We are in what is known as the WWE fans of the PG era, which is representative of its PG rating on the show. There's no blood, minimal swearing, if any. It depends on where you stand on wrestling and if you choose to tell your children it's fake or not. It is violent. I mean, there is women and men are professional wrestlers, but it is not something that should be discriminated or hated against, and gave it 3 stars. gave it 3 stars. Oh, this is a long one. 3 stars again, 5 years ago. TV PG, no longer TV 14. WWE is no longer the entity it was in the late 90s and early 2000s. The TV rating has been changed from TV 14 to TV PG. This means less blood, practically non-existent since blading was banned, no inappropriate sexual material, less profanity, and less alcohol and drug references. There still is innuendo in the comments made at times by kid favorites, but no more than you see in a PG Disney cartoon. The women are still dressed to show skin, but are no longer treated as sexual objects. I see no issue with children watching the parental guidance. However, as long as anything with parents should observe how their children's behavior responds to watching, and always discuss with them the realism and training that goes into professional wrestling. The shows do have a positive message to them, pushing anti-bullying, hustle, loyalty, and respect, treating disadvantaged and children with special needs, respectively, etc. WWE generally keeps more kid-friendly product towards the first hour of the shows and less kid-friendly hours toward the later hours. But they gave it 3 stars. This was from 5 years ago. Generally an interesting review. But again, it's another thing where you look at 5 years ago, well, it's 2019. That's when it was around the time they started doing that women's revolution stuff. So, it's a couple years after that. Another adult gave it 5 stars. How the hell is this show bad? It's fake. While the injuries are often real, they don't hit each other actually hard. They just make it look like that. I'm not just saying that because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm saying that because it's true. Pain is part of life, and you have to deal with it. Also, it's PG, and there's mostly acting. Pain is a part of life. Don't you get that? 2 years ago, 2 stars. Psychology, common sense. Of course, wrestling is not what it used to be. I used to watch it back there when there was Junkyard Dog, Komodo Dragon, and Ultimate Warrior. Now it's just total nonsense. Female wrestlers, you dress more provocative, revealing. But to each their own. I just know I wouldn't let my kids watch it until they were at the age able to process at a more mature level. Who the fuck is Komodo Dragon? I have no idea who Komodo Dragon is. I have no idea. So the last adult review was 2 months ago, and it gave 2 stars. My brother loves it. However, it makes the kids think it's real, and they have serious reasons to not watch it. They definitely got hurt trying to jump from the bedpost. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So there's Common Sense Media. Their reviews of WWE Friday Night Smackdown. What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.